Hi, you're listening to Everyday Superpower, a place where you can learn about body language and nonverbal communication. We get straight to the point, so click like, click subscribe, feel free to leave a comment if anything comes to mind. And without further ado, let's get on with it. Today we're talking about lip picking, so people who pick the skin of the lip. Okay? Whether it be by their fingers, perhaps they bite the lip to some degree, breaking the skin of the lip. What does it mean? Do you know anybody who does it? Does anybody who you associate with have sore lips on a regular basis? Have you done this? Picking the lips is a way of self-harm, believe it or not. It will give an individual a perception of control over a reality they don't feel they have much control in. Okay, so it's quite a deep situation. Self-harm doesn't have to be cutting yourself with an object. Self-harm can be plucking at hairs one by one. It can be picking of the lips, as I've mentioned, and so on and so forth, alright? So even though it might be deemed minor, it still is one means of harming oneself and gaining a means of fighting back the psychological distress of a feeling of powerlessness. And before I get deeper, right, when I was in, it was a very long time ago. I don't know if it was right at the start of high school or in the later couple of years of primary school. I used to do this. I used to enjoy doing this. I'd pick my lips until they bled. So this is something I can speak about now. I was a kid. I didn't know why I was doing it. All I knew is I enjoyed doing it. Did I know I was anxious? No. Not many people know much. Unless you started picking up the psychology books, when you were a young kid and that. No, I didn't. Had a few things going on, nothing too deep. But I came up with a few anxieties. And this was my way of expressing it to the world, alright? So I had done this. I did grow out of it, so it goes to show these habits can be broken and you can, sort of rearrange your perspective. I must have done this for the best part of a year, one particular year, and then I might have just got sick of it hurting, you know what I mean? Sometimes it was painful. So, I think I naturally sort of weaned myself off of it. So it states that the individual is anxious, okay? And the individual can't do anything about that anxiety. So instead of taking control in other means, they're going to attack oneself to say, I do have control, I can experience what I want to experience, right? It's provoked by nerves. I'm an introverted person. I'm a creative individual and I spend a lot of time inside my mind and not through the cooperative sort of realms of other people. So I may be provoked into doing this, or at least maybe back in the day I was provoked into doing this, just due to, moving on upwards. So let's say I had just moved to high school and it was a whole new world, a whole new lot of people and stuff, and making friends was quite tough. It sounds like that would be the time as to when I would be triggered into doing this. Okay? Makes sense, right? So let's talk about the lips for a moment. The lips are highly sensitive. They're covered in nerve endings, right? So when you touch the lip full stop, it creates a pacifying response to a subconscious stress, okay? We see it all the time, people raising their hand to their mouth and just slowly rubbing the lips or licking the lips. I see this very regular, and I see this very regular purely as sometimes it can be quite hard to observe, yeah? So it can mean two things. When an individual sticks their tongue out whilst they're speaking to you, they could either be lying to you, and that jut of the tongue is there to say, I have deceived you, which is why it's very important to catch when you catch it. But that tends to be very minute and a little dab of the tongue, rather so than a lick of the tongue, all right, around the lips. But the alternate could be the individual licks the lips with the tongue, okay? And what that does is that creates a burst of positive feeling endorphins to the brain, right? And that'll be in a fight against the stress they're experiencing, more than likely due to the societal pressure that's weighed upon them by engaging with you, okay? You might ask them a question that they have to think about for a moment, and they may act in this manner in response to that, okay? Doesn't mean they're lying, but it means that you as the nonverbal specialist are supposed to analyze it and really pay attention to the environment and as to what's going on in real time, and don't come to any sort of brash judgment, because you don't want to judge someone as a deceiver when they're not, okay? So that's it. Goes hand in hand with plucking the eyebrows, plucking the nose hairs, whatever you want to do, alright? It's a slight means of self-harm, and it should be taken somewhat seriously, okay, because there are easier pacifying behaviours, and this is quite a serious one due to the extent you can bleed from it. I have, so hopefully this was of interest. This isn't something I see often, alright, not to an extreme degree. People may do it under wraps and just have a little pluck here and there, but I've never seen, I don't think I've ever walked around and seen somebody with ridiculous lips where they've just really attacked them. Have you? If so, leave a comment, because I'd like to hear that. Have you ever done this before? Please let me know. Click like, click subscribe, and I'm signing out. Goodbye.